All the insight is digital business executive Seth Schachner. Seth, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How concerning rather is it that now both sides of the aisle are agreeing that this app is actually a threat to our national security?
Well, great to be here. I think this has been a long-running negotiation, so it isn't that surprising to me because I think it's really a negotiation ploy to kind of strengthen both Biden's hand as well as Congress's hand in trying to force a resolution with TikTok, which has been kind of in a stalemate for some time now.
Now, what threats and concerns are these politicians referring to at this time?
So then the threats are legitimate, to be honest with you, on both sides of the aisle. Probably the biggest is just what you mentioned earlier is around data security of U.S. data and U.S. citizens. And it's not just shared in the U.S., it's shared globally. But yeah, I mean, TikTok's parent ByteDance can be forced under law in China to give that information back to, to the government, basically. So that's probably the biggest concern. I think there's a really strong underlying concern around, AI and that For You page that is the front page of TikTok. And, whether that can be manipulated or used to send political messages, propaganda, whatever it might be from China to the U.S. for sure. And I think that's a very serious concern in terms of both sides of Congress as well as the Biden administration.
Now, one thing that stood out to me is that a source has confirmed with NBC that the company did not see this move as a final order. Will TikTok budge with Biden's comments?
Well, probably not in the near term, and it isn't the final order. They've been negotiating, an arm of Congress called CFIUS that's pretty sensitive and confidential. I think has been in backroom negotiations to figure out some way to change the management structure of TikTok here in the U.S. and that has kind of stalled. But I think that is sort of underlying what this move is all about, basically. And I think next week the TikTok CEO is going to be sitting in front of Congress, getting grilled, and I think a lot is actually going to hinging on that, really, how he does and what his answers are.
Yeah, what can we expect in that hearing there?
I mean, for sure, he's going to get piled on from everyone from both sides of the house, and I think they're going to try and stick to their guns, if you will, the TikTok folks, in terms of the solution that you just mentioned earlier there. But I don't know what will happen. And I think a ban is pretty unlikely, personally. But I think what could happen longer term is that a way will be figured out so that there is some type of local TikTok structure that maybe is under some degree of American influence or control. And hopefully no one will see any difference in the app and it'll just keep running along, but the data will somehow be under our control a little bit more, as will that AI. And maybe that'll be a solution over the next few years. And you could probably see it globally as well in the EU or maybe other parts of the world.
Yeah, you mentioned the EU there, but we also saw that the UK has banned those devices, that app on the government devices. Could this be something that more and more countries will follow if, let's say, the US does a big move here with the app?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is one of these rare cases where, from what I can tell, everyone, the EU, the UK, even Japan, some of the countries around the Far East are all really on the same page here. And so the government devices ban is just kind of a first step, if you will. I mean, I kind of see it as in sort of strategic symmetry with maybe longer term creating localized versions of TikTok that aren't run by ByteDance but are kind of managed in local territories. But I think we're a stretch away from that. But I do think there's a lot of unity around the world on this issue because data is a pretty sensitive issue, and this is a pretty blatant case, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds. Seth Schachner, thank you so much for your expertise here on the show. We appreciate your time.
Great to be here.